Right. So in this session, as you can see, we are going to talk about human behavior. Very interesting concept. And the reason that we are talking about this human behavior is that later on we have to learn a lot of things, and all those things depend upon human behavior. We all do things. Like I said, you wear a smile on your face. Okay. I say that you be positive about yourself. So all these things that we do, and then how we portray ourselves out there to the world, is our behavior. So we must understand first. So today we are going to just understand. I'm not going to give you any big insights today. We are going to just learn about human behavior. And when we have learned about human behavior, then in the sessions to come, we'll discuss about it and we'll try to change our own behavior to make it more positive and more exciting. Okay? Great. So what is human behavior? Let's see. So there is quite a big interest among academicians as well as commercial researchers. And in one of the earlier sessions, I had talked about Facebook, how Facebook does its business, how Instagram and how Apple and all these big companies, in the last 20 years, they've grown like from zero to the top companies in the world, Google and all the other tech companies. How did they become so successful? We'll study about their case studies as well in time to come in the future sessions. But to give a little bit insight today, as we are studying human behavior. So what these companies do is they study human behavior on a very granular level, very detailed level. And they know how people react, how people are going to react, how people are going to act, what they are going to do. And they use AI today in a big way to study human behavior. So artificial intelligence is being used by Google, and therefore you can see one example I'll give, that when you go to some website and search about something, like I was searching about some product today, and then I go to my Instagram and suddenly I see that product advertisement on my Instagram feed. How that happens? So sometimes we say that how did Instagram come to know what I was searching on Google? So this is what they do. They study about you, they study about human behavior, they know what you are going to do, they know how you are going to react, and then they place those advertisements in a particular place just where you want to see them. And you end up purchasing those products, right? So they do business, and that's why they have grown like from zero to the topmost companies in the world. 20 years back, there was no name of many of these companies, but today they are tech giants. They are in the top 100 companies in the world. So you have to learn about human behavior for our own sake. How do we change our behavior? Once we understand, we can change it. Number two, how to read the behavior of other people around you, how to read the behavior of your boss, how to read him like the back of your hand. And I'll not use the word manipulate. There's a better word for that, influence. So once you can read other people's behavior, you can influence them, you can inspire them, and you can get what you want. Isn't that great? Okay, so let's see. So there has been an academic and commercial research going on in human behavior for quite some time as to how people act or react, as the case may be, act or react, how they make decisions, because the whole advertising world depends upon decisions of people to buy things, how they plan, how people plan, and how they memorize things. Okay. So what is behavior? Let's start with that. Let's understand, go deep into behavior, and let's understand today that what is a behavior and how we depend on different things in order to behave. Though in the starting, I'll tell you one joke. So when we were kids and we used to run from here and there, okay, and our parents used to scold us, and one of the ways that they used to scold us was always telling us, behave yourself, isn't it? And there are parents here also today. So you always scold your children, behave yourself. Hey son, behave yourself. Hey daughter, behave yourself. So when we say behave yourself, what we are trying to say is actually discipline. Behavior is something huge, and behavior can be positive, can be negative, and it has different tones and effects to it. So today we are going to study everything. So from tomorrow, or starting with today, don't scold your children, behave yourself, because then they misunderstand the concept of behaving. They restrict it to a wrong sense, that I'm doing some mischief and therefore parents tell me to behave. Means behavior is something which has to be good always, but that's not the case. Behavior includes every aspect, positive, negative. Okay, so that's what we are going to see today. So what is a behavior? It is a observable action, like all the examples that are given here. You are drinking coffee, or you are talking to somebody on a phone, you are driving a car, I'm speaking right now, you are hearing right now, you are listening to me, you are seeing this video. This is behavior. So everything that we do right from the start of the day till the end of it is nothing but behavior. We are acting in a particular manner for doing something. Now this behavior comes from three things. There are three things which affect our behavior, whether I'm smiling or I'm crying or I'm positive or I'm negative or I'm scolding somebody or I'm talking in good sense. Everything that we do is revolving around three things. It is you can say an outcome of three things, and these three things are action, cognition means how we think, and emotions means how we feel. Three things are there, just three things, and now we'll focus on each of them and see and introspect also as to how we behave in different situations. So as I told you in the beginning, the discourse is all about yourself. Okay, this is not about learning, this is not about somebody teaching me a lesson. It's about introspection. It is about whatever we are hearing, we'll apply to ourselves and see what we see, and then if it needs to be changed, we'll go and change those things. Okay, so it's about introspection. So whatever we are going to see today, you are going to apply to yourself and introspect. Okay, I behave like that because of this. Oh, I have not now got the key, so I can change the key, right? So it's going to be fun. So let's see. So action, cognition, and emotion, these are the three elements of behavior. Action means, like today I'm speaking, so that's an action. Cognition means before I'm speaking, I'm forming an idea in my mind, I'm forming an image. Okay, I have researched, so that is the cognition. Okay, action is the outcome, and feeling is what I told you at the start of today's session. Be happy, that's a feeling. Now you understood why I asked you to be happy? Because with a good feeling, if I'm going to speak, means action, the action will also be positive. So if I'm feeling good, the action will also be good. If I'm feeling bad about myself, I'm feeling very tired, and stressed out and lethargic. So you know how the action will come. Yeah, so this is how it interacts. There's an interplay, there's a connection between three things: the emotions, the cognition, what you're thinking, the thoughts, and the outcome. And that is what happened with us, introspection time. So we go to examination hall. Okay, now if we are not feeling good, if we are feeling fear right now, the emotion is fearful, then what happens? Our mind goes in a circuit, in a whirlwind. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? I'm confused. It goes into a total state of confusion, state of denial. Your memory becomes weak. The things that you have read and you know beforehand, you forget them in the examination hall, all because of emotion. You're not able to control the emotion. You're not able to control your anxiety, and that affects your memory, that is cognition, that affects your thinking power. You're not able to formulate answers, and therefore the action, that is writing, also comes very bad, and you lose marks. So things start with emotion and convert into action, and this happens, and this is a circle. Anything can happen first, followed by the other. Okay, So good. So let's see. Let's move on. So I would give an example. In order to understand action first, so we'll start with action, then we'll go to cognition, then we'll go to emotion. So action can be understood in a filmy sense, okay, because we are living a life continuously, so it's like a video, a continuous live video which is going on. Our life is a live video, okay. But if you want to take a fraction out of it, then the best way to do it is a movie. So when a movie is being recorded, there's a set out there. Shah Rukh Khan or Hrithik Roshan or whatever the actor is, whoever he is, he's there. He has prepared his dialogue, and then the director comes with a clapboard and he says, action number so and so, that whole number game is there, and then he claps it. So before that he says, lights, camera, action. And as soon as he says action and claps that board, the actor or the actress, as the case may be, the people out there, they start acting. Okay, so they were standing quiet and suddenly they start acting, they start emoting. So that is what action means. So we are doing it every day continuously. Whatever we are doing is an action. Okay, so an action denotes everything that can be observed. That can be observed means people can see what you are doing. So that is an action. Action is anything which can be observed. Very good. Now, action depends upon a lot of things. And one or two things that we are going to touch today, and then many other things we'll touch in future sessions. So one of the things is perception. What is a perception? Perception means a belief formed by me. Okay, so perception depends on a lot of things. Like perception depends upon your understanding, perception depends on your bringing up, what kind of belief system you have got from your parents. Perception depends upon what you have learned from thousands of years, because what we carry today, our learning, is not just this 20-30 years of this life. The learning that we have in our mind, the subconscious mind, is from millions of years. There's something called as muscle memory. Okay, so we have been the life transforms, as you all know, and since we have got the genetics from my parents, and my parents got the genes from their parents, and they got genes from their parents, and if you see this line way back, it will touch to millions of years, and the genetics transfers the information, transfers the memory. So whatever memory I have today, it is not just these 20 years, it is carried for millions of years and transferred to me, which I'll transfer to my future generations, and they will transfer further. So I'll give you one example today, and then we'll see a lot of examples in sessions to come. So example is that whenever there is darkness, okay, what happens? The first thing that happens is that you get frightened. Okay, that emotion immediately comes, fright. You get fear. Why does it happen? It is because this memory has been transferred to us for millions of years. So if you leave the last 100 years, say, when we formed cities and we started living in cities, so in these 100 to 100 years, the last two generations, you can say, before that we used to live in fields out there, and there were a lot of animals. There were a lot of animals who could hurt you, like snakes and wild animals out there. So, and that existed for millions of years. So humankind has always lived in open spaces for millions of years, except the last, say, 200, 300 years. So that memory is still carried by us in our muscle memory, in our genes. So as soon as the darkness comes and we are not able to see things, that clicks and it tells us, be fearful, anything can happen. So even though I know that I'm living in a city today, there are no snakes here, there are no wild animals, but still I get that emotion. That is because it has been carried and transferred to me through my genes for millions of years. So all these things are very important, and later on we'll study about fear and fear psychosis and anxiousness and all that, and we'll try to remove it. So we'll try to reframe our memory, reframe our brain, reframe our minds. Okay, so be ready for that. So perception matters, and as you can see, there are two examples given here. There's a number 6, but it depends on which side you are standing. If you look from here, it will look at 6. If you look from the other side, it will look as 9. So you are not wrong. Both people are right. Okay. So that's the beauty of perception. Perception doesn't mean right and wrong. It means it's my viewpoint, and everyone has their own viewpoint. So this is a very important lesson to learn. So when you go and interact with people, you go and interact in business meetings, with your clients, with your customers, with your juniors, with your seniors, everyone will have their perception, and they will have their viewpoint depending on their perception. Okay, so when we fight with people, we argue with them, we debate with them, think about this. There is no need to argue. You understand his perception. Where is he thinking from? And if you understand that, you can very easily manage that person. So in any business scenario or work scenario, fighting is the last thing you should do. In fact, you shouldn't do, even as a last thing. If you understand that person, and if you understand where this person is thinking from, what is his perception which is making him think like this or argue like this, then you can handle that perception. So you are not hurting his ego, you are handling his perception, and you are making him understand your point of view, and he will agree to you, and you will win the conversation. Isn't it beautiful? Right? So perceptions make a lot of difference. Understand this point. So don't fight with people, try to understand their perceptions. Then another point is, again, let's play a game here. So this is an interesting point which will play as a game. So think yourself right now listening to a favorite song. Okay, so we are going in a car on a highway, listening to the radio, and suddenly a song starts playing which I like a lot, and there are a lot of people sitting in my car, wife and kids and all, and they are shouting and making a lot of noise. What's the first thing you will do? Okay, will you up the volume or you will lower the volume of that song? What will you do? Okay, what will you do? Up the volume, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. So the first thing you'll do is, increase the volume. So again, see, outside factors affect our action. This is what we have to learn. So one is perception. Perception is inside the mind. Second is outside situations and circumstances. So the circumstances and situations also affect our actions. So if I start hearing a song which I like, I'll immediately up the volume. Okay, take another example. You have your favorite dish. The waiter in a restaurant has just brought that favorite dish of yours and placed on your table. Okay, now two things happen. When we see that favorite dish, our eyes open up, the pupil, it enlarges, it opens up, because you're seeing something which you like. Okay, the next thing is that the smell will also come to you. Okay, the food has its smell. So when you start smelling it, what will you do? Will you open your eyes big enough, or will you close your eyes in order to smell that food? What will you do? Great, everyone says close your eyes, and that's right. So what is happening here? And this is one session that we are going to take, maybe next one or next to next one, and that is about the 5 senses. So we get information through the 5 senses. Okay, and if I want to smell, I will focus on smell. So if I am focusing on smell, I will automatically close my eyes, because eyes is also sending an input, smell is also sending an input. They are all different senses. So when you focus on one, what you do is you shut down the other senses, and that happens. See, another example. If I'm seeing something very beautiful, I will focus so much on my sight that I'll forget to hear anything at that point of time. I'll not hear anything. And that happens. So, there's always a constant fight between me and my wife. Okay? I'm speaking this very slowly. Don't tell it to anyone. It normally happens, husbands don't listen to their wives. Okay? And then the wife shouts, "You are not listening to me." Okay? So I give this reply. That, "Hello, my love, you are so beautiful. I was seeing you, and my sight was so intriguing and so mesmerizing that I forgot to hear." And then she blushes and says, "Oh, you are so sweet." So obviously I was faking the answer, but the point is that happens. When you see something very beautiful out there, something very good, extraordinary, you forget your other senses. And that happens with all the senses. Okay? So that's another good point to learn. Okay, now let's go to the second one, that is cognition. This is more important because action is the outward facing, what we show to the world. Cognition is our mind, how we think, how we observe, how we interpret, how we learn. All this is cognition, and that is going to make you really successful in life if you learn about it and you learn to control it. Okay, so cognition describes your thoughts and your mental images, and they can be verbal and non-verbal. There are both characteristics. Verbal means like you're thinking, like it's given there, that I have to remember to buy groceries. So you're thinking about buying grocery, about an action to be taken. Okay, the groceries are finished in the house and we have to buy it. So that's a verbal, you can speak it. Okay, non-verbal can be something which you want to achieve which cannot be said. Like if you say that, okay, I want to achieve these many marks in my exam, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, that's verbal. But as an example is given there, that how will my house look after it is redone? How will it look? That's a non-verbal. So most of your dreams, how will my office look 10 years from now? How spacious it will be, what kind of chair and table and the view from the glass and so on and so forth. So that's imagination. So imagination is a big skill that we have to learn. Visualization and imagination. That's a very beautiful thing that we have to learn in these sessions. Okay, and that will be non-verbal cognition. So cognition can be both verbal and non-verbal. Further, they comprise of skills and knowledge. So whatever skills you learn, whether that's an education or that's another skill like digital marketing skill, branding skills, and so many skills that we are going to learn in these sessions as well. So they are all cognition. Knowledge, like knowing how to use a tool, singing, memorizing, and there are innumerable examples. Okay, then very important point, it extends beyond the language that you speak. So cognition is not bound. That is the beauty of it, and that's what we are going to use, to expand our thinking, to expand creativity. So it is not bound by language. As I said, it can be non-verbal, so it is not bound by language. You can think something which is very huge, which is very great. Okay, like I may think of making a spaceship, so I cannot express it, but yes, I am seeing it. I am seeing how my spaceship will move, from one planet to the other. Objects, it can be beyond objects. So we dream things which don't even involve objects, which involve, say, total feelings and other things. And places, so it can go even beyond places. Like you can imagine that you are moving in the stars, okay, out there in the space. So that's a beauty of cognition, and that we are going to build. So from maybe 2 sessions down the line, we'll start with meditation as well, 5 to 10 minutes, and then you'll understand these concepts. Okay, how you can imagine things. Then moving ahead, so cognition allows you to create entirely new things just from your mind, things which are not existing, things which are not there. And if you have heard about big thinkers in the past like Tesla, so Tesla could imagine batteries, and he could imagine so many things which he couldn't build in his time, in his lifetime, and which are built today. There were people who could imagine flying, but they didn't know anything about aeroplanes. Okay, and then people build those things later on after some point of time. So that's the beauty of imagination. You can imagine things which nobody has seen, which even you haven't seen, but you can see it in your mind. You can concoct that, formula, that idea in your mind. So that's the beauty of it, and that makes the difference between ordinary people and visionaries. So the people whom we call as visionaries, they are able to see those things which others can't and which don't exist today. So that's the beauty. Then moving further, so this we have touched. Then emotions, coming to emotions. So emotion is again a very big area which we'll touch in future sessions, and we'll try to resolve certain emotions that you are basically feeling today. Okay, and there are a lot of people who are compelled by emotions, they are controlled by their emotions. So we will try to resolve that as well, how you will be in control of your emotions rather than emotions controlling you. Okay, so let's see what emotions are. So any relatively brief conscious experience characterized by intense mental activity. What happens when you feel emotions? There is intense mental activity, and therefore it drains you. So we always say this, that my emotions are draining me, I am emotionally drained right now, right? We say that. So that is because it uses, your emotion uses your mental energy. It creates high mental activity. And it is a feeling that is not resulting from either reasoning or knowledge. So that's why when, emotion overpowers you, it means it is overpowering your reasoning. And then you become bound by your emotions. You act according to your emotions and not according to common sense or according to reasoning. And that's not good. So we will learn to avoid that. Okay. And it can be positive as well as negative. So it varies, the emotions varies from positive to negative, which we can see in this chart. So on the negative side, the emotions can be anxiousness, angry, afraid. And on the positive side, it can be happy and surprised. And I'll give you another model here, and I'll share this PDF with you. So what you do is, this is a very interesting model, and you will do this exercise today, and that is judge yourself on this scale. So this is a scale of emotions, different types of emotions, where they lie. So there are two aspects to it. One is the valence, that is from negative to positive, how it varies from negative to positive, what kind of emotions you feel normally, and the arousal. Arousal means the intensity of that emotion, from lower arousal to a very high arousal. So what kind of emotion you are feeling and where it lies. So you will map your emotions, okay, which you feel normally in your day-to-day life, and try to map it, and then we'll see that over this period of 1 month, we'll try to move it from the highly negative states to the positive states. And in positive states also, what can be high arousal and what can be low arousal states, because both are very important for us. Okay, low arousal states are also very important for us, like calmness. So when you are calm and satisfied, what we achieve by meditation, calm states. So that is a low arousal. Happy, it's a happy emotion, but low arousal, and we need to reach there for some time at least, so that we get a lot of intuition. Intuition comes in calm states. Okay, so we have to reach there. And when you have to talk with somebody, when you have to influence or inspire people, then you have to have the high arousal states. that I told you in the beginning. Okay, so we'll be more happy, exciting, and robust. So we need to achieve that state. We need to achieve the calm state depending on the situation and circumstance. So we need to have control over all these emotions, not just the negative emotion but also the positive emotions. When to be calm, when to be excited. And when you learn all these things, then life becomes really enjoyable, because you can change your state of mind, you know. And when you control your emotions, you can change your states at any point of time. So from being very sad, you can become really excited in just, a click, and deal with things out there. And then a few facial expressions I've given there, so this is for your self reading as we'll go through the PDF. And this is important. Go to these 2 slides, okay? And this will tell you how to read people. This is again a very important story. Understanding how to read people. Because when you go and meet people, it's not just about your emotional state, it is also about their emotional state. And there's a concept of empathy, right? So you have to empathize with people. Empathy means stepping into the shoes of the other person, right? But empathy doesn't begin unless you come out of your shoes. So if I'm wearing my emotional state and trying to understand somebody, I'll not be able to do that. Say I'm very happy today, and I go and meet a friend who has lost his brother, and I'm going to his funeral. Okay, so can I take my state of mind there, happy state of mind, and then try to empathize with him? Hey friend, doesn't worry. So what if your brother is gone today? Can I say that? Obviously not, right? So I have to get out of my shoes and enter his shoes. So when you look at people, just by looking at them, you have to understand their emotional state. What is their emotional state? Looking at their face, hearing them out. So you can understand their emotional state from their voice, you can understand emotional state from their face, you can understand the emotional state from their aura as a whole, from the body language that we say. So you need to learn this. When you learn this, you can really empathize with people, you can really make good friends, and you can really influence and inspire people. Okay, and that makes your business grow like anything. So do that. Okay, and in the last, we'll see that all these 3 are interdependent on each other. They are not exclusive things. Action, cognition, emotion, they are interdependent, and anything comes first and triggers the other. So if I'm happy today, I'm feeling happy, I'll go and eat an ice cream. Okay, so if I'm happy, I'll do a lot of things out of happiness. So I felt first and then followed by action. Another way, action can trigger a good emotion. Like if you're not feeling good, no problem, just go to the gym, just go and work out, or go for a long walk. So just by walking, you'll start feeling good. Just by going to the gym and exercising and putting all the weights and lifting them, you'll start feeling good. Your heart rate will increase, the body will pump more blood, and you will start feeling good. So anything can come first, followed by the other thing. So they are all interdependent. So that's called the cause and effect. So action can cause an emotion led by cognition, or an emotion and cognition can lead to an action, or a cognition can lead to an emotion and then an action. So we think about something, cognition comes first, followed by an action, and maybe an emotion. So they are a circle. Okay, so that's a good point. So understanding behavior is therefore very important. So this is for you to read later on. All these points are for you to study. And there's one interesting research also. Maguire and colleagues, 2006, they made a research for London taxi drivers, and they found that the hippocampus, that is situated here at the back of the brain, was enlarged for these people because they had to remember a lot of maps. Okay, so our action means this whole thing of cognition and action and all can change your brain as well, and that's what we are going to do. So the purpose of today's session is this, that through the control of our actions and cognition mainly, we can change our brain. So it doesn't depend what you have inherited in your genes, that's at its place, but yes, we can change all those things. So that is called as reprogramming or reframing of mind, which we will be doing in sessions to come. So that's the beauty of it. So if you're feeling overwhelming, if you're feeling like I don't have control over my life, I don't have control over my emotions, whatever states you are in right now, don't worry, just be positive. Keep a hope and faith that yes, I can change all these things. I can change myself for the positive. So what are the takeaways for today? That you can use action to achieve cognitive goals. So sometimes we'll use action to achieve cognitive goals. Like action can be meditation. So we'll use meditation to change the way we think. Okay, so we can use meditation to change the way we think and come out of the negative emotions into positive emotions. Okay, so action can lead to cognition as well as emotional change, or new experience, any new experience, new learnings that you have an impact on your cognitive mindset. So you can learn new things and change your cognition. And that's what we do. That's why schools and colleges and all the institutions are, right? Or the experience is the biggest teacher, we say. So every experience makes you learn something new. Okay? And you can also predict the events that are going to come. That is called as foresightedness. So when you do more focus, if you're more focused on your cognition and develop it further, then you reach a state where you can predict. And that's what these big billionaires do. They start businesses which are not known to people because they have a foresight that what's going to come in the future. And if you can do that, if you can start predicting what's going to come in the future with certainty, then you can be the next billionaire. And you can do it. Believe it. And the last one is that imagination and abstract cognition are body-based. So imagination, as I was telling you, imagination and abstract cognition means something which is absolutely new, you have not seen it, can also make the same reactions in your body as a normal thing would do. And the best example I'll give you to make you understand this point is nightmares. Have you had nightmares? We all had nightmares, right? Or people still do have nightmares, but in childhood we all used to have a lot of nightmares. So in a nightmare, suppose there's darkness, I'm just coming from one place to home, and suddenly I see that a few people are following me and they have knives and guns in their hand, and then I get frightened and I start running and running heavily, okay, very fast. And then suddenly that nightmare, I get out of my dream, I just get up and I feel that as if I was running. All my muscles realize that I'm actually running. So I'll feel fatigued, I'll feel tired, I'll feel, perspiring, and I'll feel my heart rate going up. So all the things will work in the same way as if I was actually running, though I was not. I was just dreaming. I was having a bad dream. So what this tells us is that illusion, dream is an illusion, abstract imagination has the same effect. So I'll tell you a secret behind this, and we'll use this secret later on. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between illusion and reality. Just think about it. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. It cannot differentiate between illusion and reality. And this is the concept on which the VR technology is based. You have gone to those malls where they have those VR games. They just place that VR on your eyes, and then there's a 3D VR which is running in it, and you feel that this is happening in reality. Yeah, your brain doesn't know the difference. Your brain gives the same impulses to your body and your muscles as if this is really happening. So that whole technology is based on this concept. Your brain doesn't know the difference between illusion and reality. So your brain thinks that whatever illusion I'm having, whatever dream I'm having is really happening. So it gives the same impulses and same feelings. So what we'll do is, we will use these illusions to reframe our mind, to give impulses that we want it to give. One application I'll tell you today, and then we'll see in future sessions, and that is if you are feeling pain. Some part of your body is paining, like you're having a headache or some muscle ache or something. Sit quietly, do deep breathing 5 to 10 times, focus on your subconscious mind, and just imagine that you are feeling the best today. No pain. You're not feeling any pain today. Just imagine that, and very forcefully you imagine that. Okay? And after 2-3 minutes, you'll realize that the pain is gone. In fact, this is used for healing as well. There are mind healers. So through the mind, we can heal people, and people have done it. There have been cases of cancer patients who have treated their cancer just by mind, just by reframing what they imagine in their mind. So that is the power of imagination. And with that, we'll end today's session. And in tomorrow's session, we are going to learn about learning, how learning happens. So today we talked about the behavior and the 3 things which are involved in behavior. Now tomorrow we'll see the learning, how we learn things, and then we'll start with the real things, okay, in the future sessions.